What's going on, everybody? Had a last minute adjustment for the lighting, so I apologize for the slight tardiness, but we got it together. We got our act together, guys. Friday, end of the week. We're gonna do a live here, and we're gonna do state of the collection. So I wanted to just run through my collection real quick and show you guys exactly what the setup looks like right now. I have everything set up. I got the camera, second camera. Hopefully everything is smooth. Space G, you're a true one, man. You're always ready to go, baby. I love it. Um, how's the sound going? Sound's going good? Everything good? Just want to make sure before we schlep on. I think the sound should be good though. We did a last minute check on that too. So let's just okay, let's get into it. So I want to go over my collection, guys. Show you guys exactly where it's at right now. As I've said before, Space G was sound good. Okay, good. As I said before, all of my watches that I've collected are of the affordable nature. All of it's pretty much attainable. You guys are going to recognize a lot of things in my collection. There's not going to be too much of a shock factor. I mean, I do have space in it for the customized watches. I would say about 1/3 of my watches are customized, so those you won't recognize. But I got a lot of cult classics, and I put my spin on whatever I could on them. I didn't feel comfortable dabbling too much and trying to customize too many of the watches every single time. Where I did feel comfortable, I did mess around with, and you guys are going to see exactly what I mean by that. So first things first, customary wristwatch check, wristwatch check. Let's put camera 2 up, and we got the Orient Bambino on. So this is going to be technically the first one that you guys are going to see from my collection. We all know what the Orient Bambino is, right? Like super affordable watch, super collectible. I ended up, so with this watch, I was going to go with the blued hands in the beginning. Last minute, I'm talking like it was in the cart and I was ready to order this one because I wanted that vintage vibe. I wanted it to, look like a vintage watch, but I was too early on to really know, like buying the seller and seeing if that watch is actually going to be quality. So this is the perfect place to go. As you guys know, there's independent brands where we can also pick up from that do a lot of these vintage style look to it. So that's where I'm at right now. So these are rose gold hands. I put this on an ostrich strap, and then I added the buckle over here, rose gold, just to tie everything together. So I think that pretty much came out nice. So let's see. Stricko, what's going on, buddy? Stricko's in the building. Space G's here. Listen, it's a Friday. We got the holiday. I don't expect too many people to pop in. I know a lot of people watch it after the fact. I know it's really tough, especially look, even if it's not a holiday, it's still a Friday. And I know people have families, people have, priorities. So, if you're watching this on the playback, I've had a lot of people message me, sorry, I couldn't make it to the live. Do not be sorry. I appreciate you for watching this at any point in time when you do have free time. So, don't worry so much about when you could watch it. I just appreciate you guys tuning in. And on that note, I am super appreciative of 100 subscribers, right? I mean, the whole point of this is for me to build a sub community, build a community that we can just trade information, go back and forth. Hopefully you guys could learn something from me. I could learn something from you. We could vibe out. It's just about having fun. And I never would think that even 100 subscribers would be wanting to tune in at the beginning of this. So super appreciative, man. It's really cool that this community is coming together, and I'm excited for what's to come. So let's get into it, guys. What are you guys wearing on the wrist, by the way? Space G, Stricko, what do you guys have on the wrist? Just curious. And for my next trick, so let me get this in focus. We all know this guy, Casio Duro. Love it. Affordable, super affordable, $50. I mean, you cannot go wrong. It's a little big, wrist to wrist. Some people, not everybody can get away with it. They came out with a second version that is, smaller in size, but more in money. And we know about the features. So if you could get this original one, that's probably going to be your best bet because it's the most affordable out of all of them. But I ended up, and I don't know if this is going to come up on camera. It doesn't look like it too much, but as far as the AR coating, so this is a sapphire crystal. I swapped out the crystal on this one to that, and it has a blue AR coating on it. It's not going to pick up, I don't think. Oh, you catch it right there. Booyah. Check that out on the edge of the crystal. You can see that blue AR coating just to match that second hands going around. And then I changed the bezel to ceramic. So, you know, a little bit of my touch to it, a little bit of my customization to it. Don't want to mess around with the hands on this one. You know, keep it simple. Those are like nice little upgrades to it. So I think that was enough. And then, of course, on bracelet, we have the Casio with the Marlin sign on it. And I think that's enough. Jubilee, of course, because Jubilee, it's got to be Jubilee. If it ain't Jubilee, it's wrong. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. But I think that pretty much polished off that watch, and I was super happy with it. Thank you, Space G. I appreciate it. Yeah, blue's my favorite color, Strico. So you got it blue as well. I love blue. I'm a sucker for blue. Blue dials, blue bezel. You know, when I was looking for that, when I purchased that watch, I was in love with the Batman look. You know, we all know that Rolex Batman, and a lot of people putting it on their GMT and everything else. Wasn't super happy with the aluminum. So ceramic is the way I wanted to go. And I'm happy with that ceramic that I chose because it matched the second hand better. If you guys know the original aluminum bezel that's on that, it's darker. It's a little darker than the second hand. So it just so happened, I didn't know it was even going to match that much. And when I put it together, it was just like, it was fire. It was fire. I really like that one. Next up, we all know this one too. Next up on the state of the collection, the Amphibia. We all know this one, cult classic. Yeah, the Amphibia collection by these guys. I mean, this is like, so when I got this watch, I was watching a Teddy video. Actually, he had gotten, was it the same one? I think he got one that was a little different. The indices were like triangles on that one, but I was really feeling more of that, like more of like that military look. His was more like a diver look. At the end of the day, it is a diver, but I wanted that military, you know, regular numbers going around it. And the bezel it came with, it was kind of flat. It was just a metallic bezel. And I decided to mod the bezel on this guy. So again, you know, it's going to be a going theme here with the blue. The bezel had the blue coating on the side of it. It just pulled it a little bit more together, matching the second hands again. And then you guys can see from the strap that I have on here, it just really pulls in all the colors. You know, again, blue's my favorite color, so I'm gonna lean that way a lot. You guys are gonna see that. I mean, you could see from my name and all the banners and everything else. That's just where I love to be at. Let me adjust the lighting here a little bit. Hang on. I think that's how we're gonna have to live right now. But yeah, man, Vostok. Shoot. As far as like starting to get into mechanical watches, this is an ace, right? The Duro was a quartz. So nothing wrong with a quartz. Nothing wrong with a quartz. That watch is absolutely solid. It has the diving and everything else. It has the meters on there. You know, it's pain-free, right? So it's gonna stay time, accuracy on it. You don't have to worry about shaking it. You don't have to worry about anything else. Maybe just the time on it and everything else. But on this guy, you know, if you want to go mechanical, I think that I paid $75, if I'm not mistaken, for this one. It couldn't have been too much more. So we're talking about the equivalency. You know, it's hard for me to say that this is the equivalency of a Seiko, like off rip, but I could definitely tell you that it's a solid, robust movement. It's something that people stand by. It's a common choice. I want to say it probably comes up in the community second pick next to Seiko as far as like availability in parts, availability in being able to customize it. So that had to go into the collection. Teddy ruined me on that one after seeing his version of it. And that was that. So I'm just going in order of my watch box. So that's two watches. This is all coming from my first watch box that I ever purchased, and I decided to put all my more sentimental watches on there. We'll get to the more sentimental pieces. Those were more like me getting into watch collecting and going with the affordability. Space G, yeah, built like a tank. I'm gonna try to keep up with comments, working on that, keeping up with the comments, so like that it stays fluid for where I'm at when I'm talking. But built like a tank, absolutely right. And like I said, it has a bunch of customized options. So Vostok is the way to go, baby. If you're looking to mod and stuff like that, then it's an absolute ace. So in no particular order, again, we'll get to the more sentimental pieces, and I'm probably going to fly a little bit more through it because listen, it's sentimental to me. It's not sentimental to you guys. So you guys don't want to hear my stories going on and on and on. But this is the Watch Crunch Milghouse that I modded. So was this the first? No, this wasn't the first mod that I put together. Actually, it's a little bit further in, but this is when I started to play with dials. This is when I started to see if I can make custom dials to however I want it. You know, Watch Crunch, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about by any chance, absolutely hop on there if you're a watch enthusiast, guys. Yeah, tons of things happening on there. You know, we'll do another coverage of that when I talk about Max's Anachronist strap, and we'll go into deeper dive of that. You know, I made a video on it, but I made this Watch Crunch mod. This is not the first prototype that I made. I actually just sold that to a gentleman named Shane. Shout out to you, Shane, for, you know, having the eye for that one and wanting to take that one on. He just received it in the mail and he's happy as can be with it. So Milghouse style, I found a manufacturer that could achieve that green glow. Now, I had a lot of people ask me, how is that achieved? I don't believe so. I asked them, how is this achieved straight up? And they told me that they don't want to give me their secret sauce. So I'm sure that it's nothing crazy. I haven't popped out that crystal myself. When I get the pieces to make this mod, I have the case already put together, and then I just put together the dial, I put together the movement, the hands, but the crystal rather, is already on the case. So I don't necessarily want to remove it just to check that. But my guess is that that's just like a green gasket sitting right beneath it. So just to answer that question, if you guys are wondering how that was achieved. And then on mine, I put that green date on it just to match everything else. So I was really happy with this Milghouse, man. It's just a nice homage of the Rolex Milghouse. And I think it really came together just to be simple but effective to get it around. And, you know, you go to a watch meetup and you guys are from Watch Crunch, then, you know, I went to one of the Watch Crunch meetups and everybody lit up when they saw that. And on the theme of that, wait, hang on. Let's look at the chat just to make sure. Vostok Modder's dream, really like yours. Thank you, sir. Stricko, thank you. We'd love inferior. Yeah, man, they're cool. They got the scuba guy. They got a bunch of things on there. So, oh, I'm going fast, huh? Yeah, you know what it is, man. Listen, I'll do it like this, Space. You're right. I should slow it down. Let me slow it down a notch. What I'll do is we'll run this until about an hour 15 max, and then we'll just pick up on the next one where we left off, you know, if that's fair enough, and we'll do it like that. But I'll definitely slow down. No problem. It's Friday. Ain't got nothing to do. So on the topic of Watch Crunch, this is the second one that I made, which was the diver style. Same essence, right? So I don't know if you guys could tell. Let's take the cat out the bag on this one, right? So you see the Watch Crunch circle there, right? Pay attention to that colorway on the actual Watch Crunch logo circle, and then look at this one. You see how it's a little darker? That's because I had to actually source this dial from a different person just to make, you know, to make a long story short, just to make all the parts come together as far as gaining so these are different manufacturers for the cases, and I wanted them to all be one shot coming to me. So they were able to achieve it, but as you can see from the ink, it came out a little different, and the colorway is a little off from the teal green that Watch Crunch really is, but it gets the message across. It matches up pretty nicely, and I'm happy with the way it came out. And this one was a little special because it had the PVD coated casing on it, so that's really nice. Obviously, you could see that that's a OEM Seiko. The whole thing is, at the end of the day, coming from one way or another from a Seiko place. But the crown on this one's pretty nice. The PVD coated is really nice. And I got this rubber strap. Yo, this rubber strap, bro, is the most comfortable strap I've ever put on wrist. Like it's a little bit of a lint attractor, as you can kind of see on camera, but man, comfy, 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 and drilled lugs, baby. So I was pretty proud of this. I mean, I'm no independent brand or anything of the sort. It was a lot of back and forth with the manufacturer to make it happen, but at the end of the day, it was worth it, man. I think it's really cool to have something to represent a platform that gives a lot to the community. And you guys are here from Watch Crunch, a majority of you. DMW, what's up? JP's in the building. What's going on, baby? And it was nice to be able to, of course, I got Max's blessing. I made sure he was cool with it, meaning, I didn't want to step on any toes there, but he was cool with it. It's just an inspirational thing, nothing of the sort. And listen, man, I think it came out legit. So I was happy with it. And that was the diver version of it. So that is that. Now, as far as like how many meters and stuff like that, listen, man, I would say comfortably with the diver and with the milk house 100 meters, no problem. It's probably close to 200 meters, and I'll tell you why. It's screw down crown, screw down case back on both, so I could probably comfortably say that it's 200 meters. But when people ask me for the specs of it and they're interested, I just tell them it's 100 meters just to play it safe. Don't go any scuba diving, don't go crazy. Most people are not going to do that, but you never know a person's lifestyle. So I didn't want to mess that up for them. But again, screw down on the case back rather, screw down on the crown. So I'm comfortable to say that it's going to hold up. I'm pretty sure that 100 meters at least, you know what I mean? So next on that bottom row, drilled lugs. Yeah, man, drilled lugs. I'm sorry. I gotta try to keep track of the chat. I gotta stay. It's tough staying on pace, man. You gotta make sure you don't get off on too much tangents, which I'm the king of tangents. I'll tell you right now. I love the colors on the crunch mod. Thank you, sir. Usually in the general watch row, the color, the form, hats off. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I really wish I could have gotten it to more of the teal color, which I was able to achieve on the hands here. You know what I mean? Like that matches more of like the theme of it, but not bad for a regular hobbyist, just trying to make it happen. So I was pretty proud of that. You still get my vote. DMW's in the building, man. I'm a little afraid to show off these watch mods with him watching, man. It's like watching your boss watch you work. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, did you file the paperwork? So this guy, oh man, again, I don't have them in chronological order. We're just going off rip on the first watch case, but this beauty right here is 100% thanks to the wifey. Don't know too much information on it, to be quite honest with you. I never got to settle down, but this watch came from one of the watch shows where they were redoing pocket watches into wrist watches, and I believe it was Hamilton. It was a Hamilton, and it had this champagne dial and blued hands, and I was absolutely in love with it, but they wanted like 2,000 hours for it. So I was like, yeah, not today, and it was kind of big on wrist too. I mean, I have a decent sized wrist, so I could probably get away with it, but I just wasn't ready to drop that. But anyway, wifey took notice of me really liking the watch, and this was for our anniversary. I don't know if she is on here to confirm that, but I believe this was an anniversary gift. Love it, love it, love it. I don't know too much about the company. I do know that this is a vintage watch, or at least it does have some aging on it. So I absolutely am in love with it. The bezel is really just love the way that looks. It's awesome, man. Wind only. So now I changed the strap on it, just to give it more of that look, give it that thick leather to it. And I just love the way that came out. I mean, I just love the way that came in. I mean, she really hit it on the head when it came to that. So I was really happy with that. Don't put that one on wrist too much. I don't, it's tough, man. I don't want to baby watches, but that's a vintage watch. And it's the reason why I don't have a lot of them in my collection, because those parts, man, you just don't know when the last service was. You don't, I'm not there yet to be too comfortable with it, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? All right. So next guy, another mod that I have gotten done, achieved actually quite recently. Let's see if we could get the lighting just right, because this one is going to be negative space. So your Casio AE, this one's which one? This one's the 1200. Yeah. Casio AE 1200. As you guys know, it comes in positive display. I decided just to black this one out. My goal with this one was to put it on a gold case. Now, that being said, Casio doesn't offer you a PVD coated stainless steel case. So I actually had to source this one from Skimmy, which is basically a what do you call that? A homage watch of that Casio. And they had that in that casing. So I basically took the module out, swapped it. Now, if you do that, now I don't know where this crack came along too. I don't know if you take out the Skimmy module and you put this Casio one inside of it, it's tight. It's a tight fit, so you have to make it work. So I don't know if me forcing the module in there is what cracked the case. But it's all good. I just wanted to see what it would come out with. Now, over here, you see this, how this is chewed up. So this is me removing the wording on the casing. I did that with nail polish. I think so. The first time I did it with alcohol, which it took a lot more effort to do it. You're just like going back and forth with it. Now, if you use nail polish, it's going to be removed very, very quickly, the wording on the casing. And that also goes for Casio cases. Again, remember, this is a Skimmy case technically, but you have to make sure that you don't use too much of it, and you don't go back and forth too much. The moment you start seeing the words being removed from it, and I don't know if anybody's going to try this mod. I just go on my tangents and I throw random tips out there. But if you're going to try this mod to remove the words, the second you see that the words are being removed, you want to switch it to the dry side and let it soak up in the cotton ball a little bit more and stuff like that. So just learning things, this was like my first, digital watch kind of mod. And I don't know if it picks up a little bit here. You guys see where that world, let me see if I can get lighting on that. You see where that world thing is? So that is just regular colored film over a positive display, and the rest of it is negative out. And it gives it like that holographic look. I thought that was cool, man. Back in the day, your boy was a young boy in school trading Pokemon cards. And it just brings me back, man. I'm all about just like getting attached to the watches and just putting a little piece of yourself into it. And that holographic right there just reminds me of like sitting down in elementary school and playing kids at Pokemon, and just like, oh, I won this game. So I stole, not stole, but I won their card. We bet cards, that's how we did it. So this is going to get an upgrade from SKX Mod. I wanted to get their gold casing on it, but they're out of stock. So may go with the blacked out case and swap that for the other one that I have that I'm going to show you guys next. And we'll see. Just having fun. But at the end of the day, the negative display was achieved, and I'm trying to get it, man. Everything is visible. It's hard to see. Like you could see the regular time clock here. Instead of black, markers like your regular black hands. It's just, positive space in there. So pretty cool, man. It is hard to catch. Not everybody likes that negative look, but I do. And I think that if you put that on gold, then it kind of complements, right? Because the gold makes it like a little flashy. Not so much if you guys do a matted gold like SKX Mod has on there. Again, they're back ordered on their cases, so your boy has to wait. But on the topic, now hang on. Let me go. Let me go back to the chat. Hang on. Yeah, bust your balls. Space G. Shout out to Mrs. Santana. Okay. Appreciate you, JP. Appreciate you. Gotta bust your balls. What do you mean? I gotta keep up with chat. I gotta keep up with chat, man. This is gorgeous, man. Stealth wealth. Nail polish remover with a Q-tip. Yeah. Nail polish remover space. Nail polish remover with a Q-tip. That's how I remove the lettering on the case. So, second one that I did, this is the AE 1300. Man, the lighting is not coming out how I want it to. See if I add natural light. That doesn't help. This is not coming out the way I want it to. Hang on, guys. Technical difficulties. What if I move the light source over here? Apologies. Trying to get it right. That was a little better. Hang on. There we go. So on this guy, same thing. If you guys are even remotely interested in modding these Casios, there's several ways to do it, right? You can get polarized film, which is you can get the regular negative, positive polarized film, which it's both in one film, right? It's just how you orientate it. I wanted to go the extra mile. I had this colorway set up in a particular pattern for a particular reason. That video is going to be released soon as the reason why. But sourcing your what do you call this? Polarized film in color, I couldn't find that anywhere. That was hard for me to find who had that. And I actually had to I couldn't even get it from AliExpress. I had to get this one from Alibaba or something like that. And there was only a couple of them that had it in small sheets. Long story short, but I achieved the exact colorway that I wanted. Wifey hates this one. She does not like the colorway, and she feels that with the way I have this set up, I should put a black PVD case with it. I might just entertain that. I might entertain that. But at the end of the day, I ended up putting this with the SKX mod. This is the brushed look to it, and I didn't want it to have like the text. Like this is just like what do you call that? This is just what do you call that? When they just you just have the engraving on it, like you don't have like the black text over it. So I like the stealth look to that. And let me tell you guys something. This case and this bracelet is another level. Like I'm sure you guys saw reviews on it, but it makes it a lot heavier. The buttons are a lot more reactive, and it really does take the Casio AE 1300 or 1200. It'll fit either one, or I believe also the 1600 to the next level. Like this will completely upgrade it. Yeah, it's a $20 watch, and then the case is about 120 to 150 bucks. It's if you're willing to invest it, but I was able to achieve this also by taking a couple of Casios too. Like this is a particular faceplate to a Casio, and I just Frankensteined it, if you will, and just achieved what I wanted. So negative blue, positive red. I messed around with negative red, but it wasn't coming through on this. So I was really happy though. At the end of the day, the way it came out, I have a couple of these that I've tried different ways to do it, and the way it is now is the way it's going to be. I might try it in a PVD black case just to see how it looks, but I have to see, right? Because as I said before, I want to get that gold case for the other one. I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking for a reason to buy, baby. I'm just looking for a reason to buy stuff, but we'll see. Now, this watch, I gotta take the dust off this watch. This one's been sitting in the box a little bit. It doesn't get a lot of airplay, man. It doesn't get a lot of wrist time. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I can't give you guys the origins because this was also a gift from the wife. This is a wooden watch. This is a watch material case wise made of wood, quartz, and it actually came with a wooden bracelet, but I ended up removing it because not the most comfy. But I got it on this NATO strap that, if you look closely, it just looks like leaves. So you get it, wood, green leaves. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly how I set it up. Love this watch. Crazy enough, like, yeah, Sky, if you love it so much, why don't you wear it, bruh? Uh, Again, man, it goes back to babying watches. Like, this is a wood watch. I don't know how much a wood watch is gonna hold up to that G-force or hold up to getting knocked around. And it's really, really special to me because it was a gift from the wife. So I'm definitely going to wrist it. For me, this is more like a spring vibe, which we're in now, but we've been having a lot of rain. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Wood and rain. I don't know if that's going to go too well together. So I'm waiting for the rain to pass, and it's like not too hot too, where I'm sweating all over this thing, but where the weather is comfortable, you could get away with just the sweater type stuff. And I'm definitely going to rock this. So that's coming soon. And I'm really excited to start getting this on wrist. I mean, I don't know if you guys could pick it up, but it even has the plastic still on the dial of it. You could see that little separation on the corner there. So it's flush enough. So I'm just going to leave it. And I baby this one. I'm not even going to lie to you. So we'll see, man. I'll see if I can get it on wrist a little bit more when this spring comes around for sure. And the temperature's just right. Moving on. So another wifey special. I'm realizing how spoiled I am with her. I'm realizing how spoiled I am. I should have known all this time. But so this one has a lot of meaning for me. This was Christmas. This was Christmas. The wooden watch, I don't even remember. The wooden watch may have been a birthday or something like that. But this is just like, man, just enjoy watches. Just enjoy putting a watch on wrist and don't stress about the bezel. Is it lined up? You know, just relax. Just relax. It's just a watch. Just put it on and do you. So very simple, very minimalistic look. Again, it was a gift, so she didn't give me the greater details, but I had to throw a halfway decent leather strap on there. Nothing too crazy, but I love it, man. I love it, man. When it comes time to, like, this is kind of like my palate cleanser, if you will. So it works exactly how she meant it to work, and just I was getting too caught up in customizing my watches and rotating them, and do I have it on the right strap and this and that, or should I change the hands and stuff like that? So this tells me to slow down and just enjoy putting a watch on wrist and not get so caught up. What's with wives buying us wooden watches? I should have caught this when I had the wooden watch. What's with wives buying us wooden watches? Mine got me mine got mine for our, yeah. Um, it's cool, dude. It's, they're not into collecting as much as we are, right? So they're trying to get us something that is a little different. You know what I mean? I think actually we saw the wooden watch on a show, and I was like, oh, that's dope. I believe it was Grey's Anatomy, and I believe it was Avery on that show. I may be wrong, but I thought it was cool anyway. But I think she would have surprised me with that wooden watch regardless, man. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. They're just trying to give us something that's a little different, But if it's not your swag, I get that too. You know what I mean? If you're like, I'm never gonna wear a wooden watch, and now I'm stuck with a wooden watch, and it was a gift from the wife, and I can't get rid of it. Now I'm stuck with it. So I get it, man. I like mine. You know, I really do, even though I said that I didn't wear it much. That's more of me babying it, but I'm definitely going to get it on more on my wrist. And this minimalistic watch, once again, I just really love this, man. This was really, really, really nice of her to do. And it's, if you will, like, it's a palate cleanser, when I'm wearing the watches, and I want to just not be so concerned with the aesthetics of a watch and just wear a watch because it's a watch. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. So make sure Typo. No, don't worry about the typos, bro. I'm the last person to talk about a typo. Yeah, I got one too. Oh, Dad Mod, you got a wooden watch, huh? I mean, I think we all come across it there, you know. All right, so next watch. This is a fashion watch, man. This is a Fossil fashion watch. Uh very early in my collecting. I was using the hat trick of when it was my birthday, when it was this, you know, just asking family members like, "Hey, get me this, get me that." You know, this is when I was attracted to shiny things and watch collecting very early on. And I'll tell you right now, I'll never forget it. I got this watch because of the strap, which this is not the original strap on it. So that's kind of funny. Um, I ended up liking and loving the dial regardless and loving the watch, right? The watch is the watch. Like take the strap off of the watch and just really observe the watch for what it is. And that's actually what you have, right? So I think it's really a beautiful blue on there. Again, it's Fossil. I forget who owns Fossil, who manufactures their stuff. I mean, obviously they're more of like a fashion thing, or maybe I have that backwards, but I love the depth in this style. I love obviously the blue Roman numerals. I even like the blue on the siding, like it's like got like that blue PVD coating on it. So I thought that was really nice. And this one was super affordable, man. I think that this was sub $100. It maybe like 60, $70, but it got the point across. Again, it was very early on. We got the chrono on there, which you know what? I've never I've never once used the chronograph on this. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. So, you know, but absolutely love it, man. Again, a gift from my brother, so always gonna stay with me in the collection. And that's what's in this watch box for the most part. So, parachute strap. I think this is called a parachute strap. Correct me on chat if I'm wrong. You guys are probably know better than I, but it's that type of strap that just latches on, you know, and it's like super, elastic. You know what I mean? It's really cool. White one is really cool. Thank you, thank you. The minimalistic Strigo. You're talking about the minimalistic one. Thank you, man. Yeah, I love that one too, man. As I said, when you just want to put something on wrist and just enjoy it for what it is just a watch. Now, super special watch coming up. At least it is to me. So I'm getting married, right? And I mean, I'm married, but I at the time where I got this watch, I was getting married, and we thought of everything except for the fact that I was like, I'm getting married. I should probably be wearing a watch, right? That's something that people do. Now, I was not a heavy collector at that point. In fact, I don't even know if I even started my collection just yet. I think I was just before me really getting into it. So I didn't know. I didn't own a watch, or at least at the time, I didn't think I did. They were all probably locked away in a drawer. And so I rummaged through Pops's watches that he had in there. And he just started collecting watches too, because your boy is very infectious and he pretty much got the rest of his family into watches at this point. But he had this regular quartz. I looked it up at one point. It's nothing crazy, man. It's just again something to put on wrist, something like that Fossil watch that I just showed you. You could see like the setup. I wouldn't be surprised if the movement is the same in this. I don't know anything about this company. I don't know anything about this watch other than the fact that I needed a watch when I was getting married, or so I thought. And this is the one that I put on wrist. And behind me, I have some of my wedding photos. I'm actually wearing it in those. It's too far away for you guys to see, but it had a steel bracelet on it at the time. I ended up eventually changing it to this carbon fiber strap. And, it's going to have that memory with me forever, man. It stays in the collection, of course. And that was the watch that I was wearing on my wedding day, and I love it. So it stays in the collection, man. It goes into the rotation eventually. Not as much. It doesn't get on the wrist too much, but it has those memories ties to it. Now, for the last watch in this watch box, I got my Timex. Good old simple Timex. And I believe, let me go back to the comments here. So Parachute, yeah, Parachute. Isn't that what I said? I thought I said Parachute. Appreciate you. Fossil Fashion Watch. Okay, Fossil is part of the group that owns Zodiac. Oh shoot. Okay, this is what it's all about, man. Information trading. Much more, but uh, okay, cool. Didn't know that. I didn't know that. Good to know. Good to know. It's for the flexion, not function. Exactly. There's a there's a lot of those I have on there, Space. There's a lot of those I have on there. So Timex. Oh man, I don't even remember the name right now. I'm drawing a blank, but this is one of their most common, most affordable, super affordable watches. We all know this one, man. Indiglo, lighting in the back. Is it gonna come up? Let's see. Yeah, you could kind of see it light up. I mean, what am I showing that for? You guys know what this watch is. You know what it does. I thought I was cool getting this one because it had that faux kind of bronze look to it, and I wanted something to be a little bit different than the regular style that it came in. But again, this was very, very, very early on, and I wasn't even sure if this was going to be a thing. So this one's like uh, $15, $20, something like that. This Timex, I can't remember exactly, but super, super affordable, and it's really bugging me now. I really got to know what's the if you guys know which Timex that one is. I know it's got a name, man. I can't remember. Do I have the back showing on this one? Man, yeah, we'll never know. Man, you know this watch. You guys know this watch. Bun strap, another thing that I was messing around with, seeing what I like, see what what I would really attach to as far as straps go. And I ended up putting this one on here because it's a smaller watch and I just thought it was just a lot more fun, having it emphasized on that bun strap. So that's what I did with it. I barely put this on wrist. Here and there, these are watches that I don't put on too much on the heavy regular rotation, except for the Vostok gets a little bit of wrist time, and the Casio, the Marlin. Yeah, that one also gets on wrist. So, again, this was another one very early on in the collection. So that's the first watch box that I have. Okay, and we're gonna give me a second, guys. I'm gonna get the other box now. Get that closer to me. Let's do this. All right, so let's see if I can fit this on the table here. Yep, that fits. Open her up. Whoa, almost dropped the whole watch box. That's the cardinal sin. 10 Hail Marys. All right, so okay. So this watch box, I wish I could show you guys, but the cameras are already pretty much set in stone. But in this watch box, I have my oversized watches. So I try to be a little bit of, I like to dabble, right? I like to have a little bit of everything. Timex Weekender. How did I not remember the Weekender, bro? I'm fired. This is my last day. Pack your things up and go home. The Timex Weekender. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I went through the phase of oversized watches. And I wouldn't say phase, man. I still mess with oversized watches, but at the time I was starting to bring in some like a lot of pieces that were oversized. I was really infatuated. And who could you turn to when you like oversized watches? But uh, uh um I mean, obviously, there's a couple of companies. There's the G-Shocks, there's the King G-Shock that you can go with, but Invicta, man, Invicta was it for me. Like, I went through, and again, it's not a phase because I still have watches in my collection that are never going to leave that are Invicta, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I know Invicta sometimes gets some heat, and I have no idea why. It's just a watch like anything else, man. I know that they have some oversized things. I know that that was more popular, going back, but uh, I got this watch box specifically to fit them because if you try to put an Invicta watch that's 53 millimeters or 54 millimeters into that regular size watch box that I had my other watches in, it ain't happening. You're getting some banging. Excuse me. So I got this watch box to fit them all comfortably. Now, I ended up switching gears and not wanting to put too many of the oversized watches in my collections. But let me show you guys. Where do we start? Yeah, let's start here, baby. Let's go big and go home. Let's start here. Wait, hold on. Where's my let's get the lint off it. Yes, sir. The Joker. This was, oh man, I had to get this one. So a coworker of mine, right? And this is still early on in watch collecting. A coworker of mine had this on wrist, man. He put this on wrist and he came to work like that, right? And man, I'm not even gonna front on you guys. I would laugh. I would be like, that watch, I've never seen anything like it before. That's first and foremost. So the shock value was there. But the dude would wear this watch and I would just laugh. I would just be like, yo, that's a ridiculous watch. Sure enough, a couple months later, I'm getting into that bigger watch phase and I'm wanting to put some in my collection. And I'm like, yo, man, I mean, this watch is so damn big. I have to back the camera up for you guys to really see it. But yeah, the Joker, man, this is a limited edition. I think they made 5,000 pieces of this. Had to get it. What I say? Yeah, Joker. Yeah, I got it, baby. I got it. They made 5,000 of these Invictas, and this is like the original one. They have like a bunch of them that they redid, but this is the one that I wanted because this was like, I believe this was the first Joker one. I mean, you got some Invicta pros out there. You guys tell me whether you're watching this later on in the comments or whatever, but I had to do it, man. I had to do it. Why'd I do it? Batman, Heath Ledger, rest in peace. You know what I mean? Heath Ledger. It reminds me of that, man. Like, I don't know about you guys, but his performance in Batman was next level, right? I was just like, wow, this guy really embodied this character. And it was so stunning. So when I seen this dial, I was just like, yo, and I gotta get it. I gotta get it. So I really love this piece, man. I remember waiting. So I was also in the phase of like, and I still am, like, I still get affordable, but at point in time, I was like always about getting a deal. Like I wanted to get an affordable watch, but I hate getting beat on the price, like paying more than I know. Like if I saw that there was a better deal on it, I was like, so I waited for this watch, right? Like it was selling. And then I was kind of worried. I was like, is it going to sell out? It's only limited 5,000. And then Invicta came with the sale on them. I think I picked this one up for, no, I know I picked this one up for 220. And before that, I only seen it above 300. And I had a feeling, I think I saw it one time go on sale before that, and I just missed out on it. So when I saw it go on sale again, I was like, it's got to go in the collection. Yeah, I wish Trap was on here, man. Trap would be the guy to go for this one, man. He'd be all over this one with the knowledge and the expertise on this one. But yo, when it comes to like Invicta watches, man, I love this. Let me throw that on wrist too, just to show you guys, because I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking like, that don't fit on his wrist. That 53 millimeter watch, man, that don't fit on his wrist. He looks skinny over here. And I'm telling you, your boy has larger than average wrists. And oh man, I don't know if the camera's gonna. Yeah, that's good enough. Oh no, you can't really see it. Hold on. There you go. Now it just makes it, not gonna cap. Like it's just the lugs are right there. You see that? The lug is right there. The lug is right there. It just makes it. But I don't care, because even if it didn't, you boy be wearing this watch. So this one, when does it go on wrist? Do I ever wrist it? That's the question, right? I think that's a fair question to ask. Nah. Do I ever put this on wrist? I do. On a regular? Nah. This thing is a brick, this Invicta watch. So there's no way. Okay. And I like to wear my watches on my left arm, and I'm a lefty. I'm just one of those guys that is a diehard rule breaker, I guess. But, I like to wear my watches on my left hand, and I'm a lefty. So driving with this thing, this thing is like a brick. But again, Absolutely love it. Staying in the collection. Glad I have it. I don't think that you could buy this no more because last I checked, these things went up in value, believe it or not. I think people are selling them for around $600-700, like the original, this original one, like the green linked and everything else. I may be wrong, and I know that Invicta had one left, and they were selling it for like a crazy price for like model number one. So, but you know, it's okay. I'll be honest with you guys. This sits in the watch case until Halloween. I love putting this thing on for Halloween, and I'm a strong believer in, don't buy a watch to have it sit in the watch case. Like wear your watches, but this one is a little different. It's one of the few, or probably just one of the very few ones that I'm okay with having and not putting on wrist all the time. And I gotta try not to shake around the desk. Let me go to chat. Let's make sure we stay out. Joker, let's go. Yeah, let's go, baby. And Joker also, too, in my childhood, he was my favorite villain in Batman. Like, if you guys remember him from, like, the cartoons, like, I never did the comic thing, but in the cartoon, bro, he was a maniac. Like, he was just crazy in the cartoon. And, like, after seeing Heath Ledger's performance in that, it was like he was the closest thing to the cartoons I remember watching as a kid. And that watch reminds me of that as well. And it gives me a Halloween watch to wear, let everybody know that, you can still have fun, man. Be in touch with your child side, Joker is too segmental fun. Yep. Trap is the expert. Yep. Wish he was here. Take this watch game too seriously when you really need to have fun. Yeah. Yeah. And I've took the Mickey. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You got to have fun. You got to have fun. There's nothing wrong with you having some serious heat in your collection. And there's nothing wrong with having some funky chickens. Like you could have watches that are just purely, we'll get into it. You guys will see with my collection that when my piece is coming up, but there's nothing wrong with having that. And I feel like a lot of people would not add something like that to their collection, being worried about being judged like, oh, it's Joker, it's oversized like crazy. But man, have fun with your watches. On that note, let's talk about the next one. So this watch right here, man. Oh man. Okay. So I don't know if you're into like memories with watches and attaching it. So I know some people are just like, whatever, watch is a watch. But for me, it brings me back to moments and it brings me back. So in my adventures for an oversized watch, this is another one that I had, another Invicta that I wanted and I actually ended up getting. And this story goes with this, and it's not going to thrill you guys, but it's my story that I really enjoy. This was a watch. I don't know why I had to have it. It was just a funky chicken, It was something where I was just like, man, I gotta have it. I gotta have a funky chicken. Diver, really heavy into divers, as you guys know. And I just love this colorway on it, this rainbow all over the watch, on the band, on the strap, on the bracelet itself, on the dial, just engulfed with so much color. And you catch this in the sun and it goes nuts. But the story behind it was more so about the hunt. Again, going back to that phase where I just didn't want to get beat on a deal. So, they had run out of stock of this exact one. Now they've done different renditions of it since, but at the time, this ran out of stock, and I thought it was being discontinued, and I contacted Invicta for it because I was going to ask him. I was going to say, yo, could you make me this watch? There was one more that the only watch that I could find from this one was in the mall in Macy's, and they wanted like $500 for this watch. And I'm like, my man, this watch is not a $500 watch. Like, it may be the suggested price or something like that, but it's not a $500 watch. I've seen it on sale for like $250 or $200. And, I passed by it in the mall with the wife a couple of times, and she's like, just get it. I know you really want it. I'm like, I do, but I don't like to buy watches where I know I'm getting beat on the price. So I had to wait on this one. I contacted Invicta, like I said. They actually said that it's just a stall in production, and they ended up coming back and re-releasing it. And it popped up on Amazon. There was only like 6 left. Wifey was on scout for it too, and she got this one for me actually because she saw it pop up on there, and I just love it, man. Going back to that funky chicken in your collection, man. Like I got that Joker Invicta. Now I'm showing you guys this one. I love it. I love it, and it gets looks. And my own pops was like, he looked at that watch and he's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm unafraid to show that off and to let people know, like, like sometimes I like an oversized watch, sometimes I want it to be super colorful, sometimes I want it to be playful, man. Just, I know I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but this was a really special watch for me to inquire personally for that hunt that I went on it. And this is a little bit heavy too. This is almost as heavy as that Joker watch, but not nearly there. That canteen style over the crown. It's a cool watch, man. It's a cool watch, and I have a lot of fun with it. I don't get it on wrist that much because with work, I'm just, left and right, and sometimes I'm hands-on and stuff. And just when you have a heavy watch like this and you have to do a lot of like driving or a lot of lifting, it's just not fun. So if I'm going over like, seeing family or something like that, just hanging out for a couple hours, I'll pop this on and just have a lot of fun. So next up, sticking with Invicta, and I think this is my last Invicta watch right now. And yeah, this is my last Invicta watch in my collection right now. I gave my brother one of them. Let's move on. So this is my third Invicta watch. Now, I pulled up at a authorized dealer of Invicta for this one, and what sold me on this was just like the grill in front of it, right? You have that style of like that old school diver helmet on it. And I don't know, man. I just had to have it. I just had to have it. It was, again, early on in collecting, I saw something shiny and I just jumped. Like, I didn't care what the specs were. I didn't care what movement it was. It was just something shiny and I had to have it. So what's cool about this is that you can actually open up this little latch on the side here. Boom, it turns the front and you can have this removed. Now, I don't know the names. Maybe you guys know the names better than me on these watches. For me, it was just like, I see what I like what I see, so I got it. And you just expose the dial a little bit more, you see the full dial on it. And I love that, man. I thought that was cool. I thought that was a cool little thing. It feels like almost a completely different watch at that point. I love the gold on gold, which, man, sometimes you forget. And even while like doing this live right now and talking about this watch, like I was so hell bent on having an all gold watch, for the AE 1200 that I talked about earlier. And here we go. It's not a gold bracelet, but if I take off that faceplate, it's basically all gold. So sometimes you just have something in your watch collection already that you could appreciate close to what you want, to add to it. But anyway, yeah, man, that shop no longer is open in the mall, unfortunately, but I was able to pick this one up, and I just love how this watch has that little play thing with it, and then you put that in there. Close this, it turns, it locks, and now that's locked onto the dial. So really, really cool. Doesn't get a lot of wrist time, man. I really need to start showing. I mean, I can't really show the Joker watch too much love because it's a brick, but I got to show these last two Invicta watch more love and get it on wrist, man, because these are cool watches, man. Oh, the strap too. I'm not even going to cap. Like, the strap also sold me on there. I mean, I thought that was just like a cartoon, Popeyes looking type flow. Like I just really fell in love with both those things. And I even like this, I don't know how to even explain it to you guys. It's a leather strap at the end of the day. Just the way that they did the stitching and the colors that they put together with it was just so much fun, man. You got the gold buckle there, and then it's like a navy blue and a light tan colorway to go with it. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like I said, that there's more to this story, but it's so much fun. This watch is so much fun. Next up on the list, Sticking with the theme of oversized watches. Oh, I got another Invicta, another one. I lied to you guys. So I'm sitting on 4 Invictas now. Apologies. So again, shiny things early in the collection. Affordable watch and Christmas, birthday, something like that. My brother again, I was firing it off like missiles, man. Whenever it was like my birthday, Christmas, they're like, "What do you want?" A watch. What do you a watch? What do you want? A watch? And then I just sent them the one that I wanted, and they were all super affordable. So it was never on some uncomfortable stuff where it's like, "Oh, I want a watch," and I sent them like a watch that's $1,000. Like it's a hack, man. Like if you're first starting to collect and you want to put some watches in your collection where you're not going to regret too much and you're not going to have to turn back and say, "Damn, I spent a lot of money on these watches," you know, and then again, even if you want to move on from them, they'll have that sentimental value. Like this watch I can't get rid of because my brother gave it to me, and I could if I really wanted to, but for what? You know what I mean? It was a very affordable watch, and this was more just like a sporty type flow, nothing too crazy, super simple. Again, I don't know the backstory about it too much, but definitely something shiny for me to add to the collection early on because I think it was the waffle dial that I really liked as well. You know, I saw that on there and I was like, ooh, I don't have a waffle dial. I'll take it. I'll take it, So, it was just going along with that theme and it was early on and birthday, Christmas, something, told my brother to get me this one and it was fitting that time frame, right? Like I was in oversized watches at that time. I was still in affordable, which I still am today, but you know, just going along with that theme, man, oversized watches. So from there, who messed me up on this one? On this next one. Excuse me, guys. Let me get some water because I'm talking like a million miles a second. I need to slow down. Let me look at chat. What's going on with chat? Strico. Sweet Scuba. Oh man, I'm behind, huh? Let me see. Okay. Oh no, I'm not that far. You guys are just laying back and relaxing. You guys are not talking too much in chat. You're just watching your boy go through the motions. I appreciate you. But we got a couple things. Love Iridescent. Old school diver helmet. Yeah, old school diver helmet vibes. Exactly, JP. Like that was, and the fact that I could remove it too. Like if I couldn't have removed that front grill to it, I probably wouldn't have been jacking it as much. I would have been like, maybe not. Maybe I still would have went with it. But the fact that you can remove it and then it's just an old gold piece, love it. 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 Hi, I'm enjoying this Friday evening. Happy Easter. Yes, happy Easter, everybody. Happy Easter weekend, man. I really appreciate you guys tuning in to chat with your boy, go over my collection, man. It's really cool. God bless everybody's families. I want to say that before we even sign off here. I'm going to go through a couple more watches, and we're close. We're over an hour now. So I'm probably going to go like 115, 120, but not too much further than that. JP, she's saying, wifey's saying hi to JP. Yeah. So we are up to, yeah. Okay. So continuing with the theme of oversized watches, G-Shock, King G-Shock, negative display. This is what the GAB. I should know the model number, man. I'm not even in the front like I know this stuff off the top of my head, but I know it's called the King G-Shock. Negative display. Didn't mod this one. Comes like that. I don't know if they have other options for it, but I was still on that oversized flow at that point. I think that this was the last stop in the station, though, when it comes to the oversized watches, because from there, I pretty much tapered it down, if I'm not mistaken. But who messed me up on this one? Jory Goodman. Is his name Jory Goodman, the time teller? Yo, he showed his with the modified. Now, I had it modified on the strap, too, because I ended up getting the lugs and everything else. But that's when I also started, like, messing around with, like, changing out more of the straps. And once I saw that he modified the lugs on this, like, you remove the resin strap and then you put another additional adapter piece, which gives you the spring bar attachment, and you could put a NATO on this. It's killer on the NATO. I don't know what compelled me to make it to have me put this back to factory mode, but I don't know, man. I just felt like doing that. And then when I did, it sticks out a little bit. Like you see how it's sitting on this cushion and it sticks out from the sides like that. That's exactly what goes on my wrist. So I'm not really too infatuated with that. I might have to mod this back and put a another NATO strap on there. Maybe I should go black. I went with an army green on there. But I'm gonna go black to I'm gonna go keep it black with it to match and then have it all like blacked out with the NATO strap. And I think that that should be cool. Solar powered, negative display, like I said, solid watch, man. I mean, this thing, like, you could punt this across the field. Like, you could run this over, you could do whatever you want. Like, any of the DW series, any of the Square G Shocks were made for that, at the end of the day. But this one's just like a hefty, thicker than a bowl of oatmeal types thing. Like I'm saying, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of guys like in the army, you know, wear this watch and stuff like that. If you can fit it on wrist. And again, I get this one just makes it on wrist as far as like from lug to lug, but doesn't get a lot of wrist time, man. Not gonna lie. The oversized watches, I kind of like. I think I'm gonna say that I took a break from them. You know what I mean? Like I'm definitely going to keep the ones that I showed you guys in the collection at least for a while. I was trying to move on from a couple of them, but at the end of the day, man, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna hold on to them, and just whenever I get in that mood, I'll put them on. So that's exactly what's gonna go on. So that's the last oversized watch. As I said, I want to go up into like an hour 15, an hour 20. So we got a couple more minutes. So let's steam right on. So what's next? What's next? What's next? Let's do this one. I mean, a couple of these you guys have seen. So we're now stepping in the category of, wait, hang on. Give me 1 second, chat. Sorry. Yeah. We're now stepping in the category of when I got into like full-fledged modding mode, right? Whether it be me putting a watch together fully or me just modding out a dial or something like that. Now, this one, I've shown this a few times. I don't want to be the dead horse, but we are going through the whole collection, so I got to include it. This is from DIY. So, JP, this is kind of like in your ballpark. I mean, I don't know how you started modding watches. I don't know how you got into it, but I got into it by just finding out that it was possible to mod watches. Like that was a thing, right? You know what? Loomshot. Loomshot is a guy that I came across on YouTube, and I was like, yo, this guy put together a whole watch. I'm like, that's a thing. I'm like, that's crazy. So that's what really made me get into customizing watches. And before we move on, let me just check chat. I see a couple things moving. You guys are like hanging back, and then you're jumping in chat. So I gotta be. You got some big watches. My wrist size. So all right, my wrist size. I believe I'm like 7.25, maybe 7.5, somewhere around there. Yeah, like wife said, I'm 6'4". I don't have like really beefy wrist, but at the same time, like I am 6 feet tall, so I guess my wrist, like it can't be like a super skinny wrist. But what I think what matters more, man, is your wrist width. I mean, we talked about this last time, and regardless if I could fit the watch with the diameter of my wrist, it really matters what that lug to lug is going to look like on these oversized watches, and I just make it. So let me see if I can grab my tool real quick. And sorry, guys, we'll go back to that custom watch. I want to address this real quick because that was a good question. So lug to lug on my wrist, right? Lug to lug meaning like my wrist width. We're looking at maximum. Well, let me take my wrist off the table. Cheating. 51, 52 lug to lug. Yeah, 52. So my wrist width lug to lug on a watch is 52, which makes sense, right? Because I think that Joker is 52, 53, depending. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's exactly why I'm able to get away with that, even though my wrists are not really like chunky fat wrists. As you see, my wrist tapers a lot, and I'm more like bony at the joint, but I still could get away with it because of that wrist width. All right. Chat. Hi, Simon. Wifey's holding it down. Holding it down. Number one moderator. Love that, bro. Oh, yeah. So the emerald. Yeah. Thank you. So that's how my journey. This is how my journey started, right? DIY watch club. Um, I knew I was gonna grab one of their watches to start modding and start messing with, and this is the one that I ended up landing on. Now, when I purchased it, right, obviously it came with a set of hands, it came with their dial. They have like their own logo on it and whatever. But at that point, I already knew that you can customize dials and hands, and I knew that they were operating off of NH35. So I knew the world was mine regardless, but I still wanted to purchase the watch from them. A, because I like the bronze. I wanted that material in my collection, it being affordable. Like I want to test the waters with titanium and gold and all that other stuff, but those stuff are more expensive, right? Like at that point, I wasn't really heavy on dropping too much money. So bronze was the way to go because it was still affordable. Now, this came with a full case with all the tools, a couple of set of hands, everything else. And again, obviously the dial and the hands were different. It's not what you see here, but the casing was there. The strap is different too. This one has gone through many different iterations. It started off one way. I changed it several times, and you're looking at maybe 2 to 2.5 years of work, maybe even 3 at this point. No, yeah, total like 3 years of me just swapping things out and seeing how I exactly wanted to sit. And all the while, the bronze was patinaing on it. So I really just had a lot of fun, man, going back into this watch. Um, Space, I'll see you later, brother. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you, man. No worries, no worries. Do your thing. So I knew that this watch was going to patina, and I just had a lot of fun going back into it and finding and playing around with different things because as this watch, as that bronze patinas, it may not match the dial, and that's exactly what happened too. Like the dial I had on before it was like a sunburst green, and it was a really nice green. It was like that lawn green, and it was really, really beautiful. But at day's end, I had rose gold on there to match that. Now, rose gold on a bronze case before it patinas looked a lot better than what it did now. Now it's more tarnished and it doesn't have like that cleaner look. So for me, it didn't really match anymore. So I completely switched it up. I ended up changing the dial because I started to do my own name on the dial, is what you end up seeing here. I couldn't find, and I searched for the longest time. I searched for a dial that was green sunburst, the same as I had before, but one that I could customize with my name on it. And I couldn't get the two to line up. Like when you're trying to get a customized dial and you're trying to get a color, you're pretty much limited to what that person's offering in the colors. So this was the closest I can get to it, but it really wasn't something that I settled on. It's really something that I was happy with when I found it because it had that cathedral style triangle at the 12, and I love the cathedral hands, and that's what I ended up putting in the watch. We have a splash of red on the second hand. So all said and done, I am really, really in love with this watch. I do get a lot of praise, which I super appreciate because a lot of work went into it. I changed the date wheel I changed the date wheel to black just to make it a little bit more muted. I could have left it white, right? Because at the end of the day, the indices are white around it. But man, I had so much fun with this one, and I think it's pretty much at its final form. At day's end, I might change out like the straps and the bands and everything else, but I even found myself a bronze, type of look at the end of this to match the watch. Also the buckle and everything else, and then the red is going to complement the actual second hand. I don't know if you guys could see that. Yeah, there you go. The red is there to complement that second hand. red. Just subtle stuff there, but something that I appreciated. So I think I'm going to end it off there, guys. I got through a lot of my collection and I gave you guys some backstory to them. We're going to pick it up next time on my customized watches. I'll show you guys the rest of them and just a little bit of a story behind it. Now, I wanted to do a giveaway today. I have extra watches that were leftovers from me customizing the AE 1200 and 1300. So I'm not too sure. Like, I want to do that today because I wasn't thinking that through because there's not too many people on the live, and I was going to do it as a raffle. So what I'll do instead is we'll do the giveaway. You know what? I think I'm going to do the giveaway as commenting on the video and just choosing random people. So that's what I'll do. So if you're interested, and I'll show you guys what the watches are on these two watches. If you guys are interested in these two watches that I customized and just stuff that I was playing around with. So this is a skimmy, and the skimmies all come in a positive display, and I ended up just switching it to negative, which is really cool because I just used a regular negative display, and for some reason it blued up, and that's probably just the LCD screen that they have on there. But I turned this one into a negative blue, and then I removed all the lettering on there, so it's a stealth negative blue on the skimmy, right? And then this is also something that I was playing around with. I don't know if you guys remember the AE 1300. I had a negative blue. This was me testing out the positive blue on there. So this is an actual, everything on here is from Casio on this one, and I switched out the bracelet on this from another Casio. So it's kind of like just a Frankenstein one that I put together, but it still comes together nicely because the pushers match the bracelet. And I thought that was cool. And then I'll also include the rubber straps that came with them regardless. So if you guys don't like the bracelet, you'll have options, but they're going to be a complete giveaway, guys. What I'll do is comment in this video. You know, most people are going to be watching it after the fact. And then what I'll do is I'll take all the names, comment hashtag giveaway if you guys are interested, and then we'll do the spin on the next live once I finish with the state of the collection. So these are the two that we'll give away. So anyway, I want to thank those guys for coming in, man. I know it's a holiday weekend. I really appreciate you guys still coming in and showing some love, and I hope you guys enjoy the content of me going through my collection. I just figured I'd go through a state of a collection and kind of just show you guys where exactly am I at, how have I been a collector over time, and you know, what's the journey look like, and see if you guys are related. If you guys have any questions about how things came to be on the stuff that I showed, I'm more than happy. Just you know, comment down below and let me know. If not, I'll see you guys on the next one. We'll cover the rest of my collection. I still haven't gotten through the customized watches and the actual main event box. Like, I have the main watches that sit in there that are just like the heavy rotation, and we'll go through that as well. So anyway, guys, happy Easter. Blessed be everybody's family. I hope you guys really enjoy it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.